Okay, let's go ahead and generate subproblems for this. I am going to do so with an algebraic emphasis. Why? Well, I mentioned that percentage and mixture problems are a particular difficulty for students in algebra. They're also confusing, and because many of you will teach algebra, I think that it's good to try to navigate this with an algebraic emphasis. However, the textbook does so differently, so feel free to read and explore the technique that they use to generate subproblems. Okay. Whenever you're using algebra and you have unknowns, the very first thing that you want to do is establish what those unknowns are and represent them with a variable. So a logical place to start would be with a question number one, what are we looking for? We're looking for the gallons of 10% mixture that needs to be added. So we're going to let G represent our unknown. Okay, so we know that, but whenever we're using algebra, we have to set up some type of relationship through an equation, and that involves inequality of some sort. So we want to ask what relationship needs to exist, and in particular for us, what relationship needs to exist between the 10% gallons and the 25% and 15%. And the clues are in the wording themselves. It says how many gallons of the 10% solution, which we know is our unknown, should be added to the 25% solution to make a mixture that is 15% chocolate. So if we were to express this in terms of chocolate, because that's what we're trying to figure out, we want an equivalent amount of chocolate in the amount of the 10% that we're adding to the already existing 25% so that it creates a mixture of 15% chocolate. So the emphasis is on the amount of chocolate that is in this. So we're going to be taking an amount of chocolate, which we're figuring out for this 10% mixture, which we would represent as 0.1 G, and we're adding that to the 25% mixture, which we already know exists. We have 25% of 30 gallons because we're given a certain amount of that. And that needs to produce an overall 15% chocolate mixture. I'm just going to put 15% chocolate mixture here, but that's the overall relationship that we're looking for. Now, I've jumped ahead a little bit because basically what I need to then know or establish is an algebraic expression for how many gallons of 10% should be added to 25%. Well, I don't know how many of the 10%, but algebraically, I would express it as I did above, 0.1 G plus, what is 0.25 of 30? Well, it's 7.5. So just 7.5 gallons of that overall 30 gallons is strictly chocolate. Okay, so that's how we express that. But that needs to equal the new 15% chocolate mixture. Now, whenever you're talking about a full mixture, that's a hint for students that it's 15% of the whole, meaning you're going to have to interject some parentheses here because a mixture contains more than one item. There's some science there involved, right? You're mixing together a couple elements or even a couple compounds. So we need to build now a full equation because we need to be able to express algebraically too what a mixture that is 15% would look like, because we want to take this and make a mixture that is 15%. Well, 15% mixture would be 0.15 of our whole. What is our whole? It's the amount of that 10% that you're adding to the already existing 30 gallons. Guess what? This algebraic expression must equal that algebraic expression. That makes sense. You're adding an amount of a 10% mixture to 7.5 gallons of straight chocolate from that 25% mixture. It must equal that new 15% mixture. So what we would do is we would go ahead and we would set the 0.1 G plus 7.5 equal to the 0.15 times x plus 30. We would distribute on this end, and we would have 0.1 G plus 7.5 equals 0.15 G plus 4.5. We go ahead and we take our variables to one side, our numbers to the other side. So I end up getting 3 equals 0.05 G. When I divide off, I get that I need to add 60 gallons of the 10% mixture to that 7.5 gallons of that 25% mixture so that I could get overall a 15% mixture that is chocolate. And that is how we could use algebra to solve a mixture problem like this.